Hi everyone, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back in the garden today and we're going to carry on where we left off in the last workshop shed stroke parts bunker episode, and that is we're going to start getting the wooden frame made for the base, so for the walls and everything to sit on and all that sort of thing. I've had some wood delivered and I've slightly changed the plan of what I was going to do down there as far as how I'm going to make it. In the last episode, if you saw that, I did say I was going to make a separate base for the shed, a small little bit in the middle to join onto the deck and sort of join it all together. Now I'm going to do it all in one piece because it's going to be a lot stronger, a lot easier to get the levels right and all that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's crack on, get some work done. Right, things have changed slightly in the plan. Lucy's been helping me, and I've had 2 or 3 pieces of new wood delivered, longer. So we've now got 2 complete side members to go, or in there rather. They're sort of temporarily just putting on bricks to level them up. And I'm actually going to screw them to the side of the deck here. So I've changed my mind from what I was going to do, which was going to make a separate frame for the shed and a separate bit to fit in the middle here. It was pointless. So I'm going to make a complete frame that's going to join onto the side of the deck. And I think what I'm also going to do is get some concrete fixings, and I'm going to fix it into the side of this concrete base because that's never going to move and that's really, really strong. I've had to take me and Lucy have had to take a little bit more of this away. We've broken a bit more of that away because it wasn't sitting flat against that concrete before. So that's done, and we've pretty much got the measurement now that we need to fit the shed on this base. So it should work quite well. As you can see, we've got a spirit level on there at the moment, just sort of leveling things up and working it out. I'm going to do it. So next thing I'm going to do is work out how I'm going to fix there's different things together. So that's going to be the next job. So I've done a little bit off camera, as you would have seen. Obviously all the stuff that came out here I've just sort of spread out there because there was a big wet patch there where the water runs down the garden. And what I'm going to do once the once the wooden base is in for the shed, I'm going to re-concrete this so it's got concrete down the back of that wood so that it won't rot, and that'll obviously then hold up any of the earth and soil and hardcore and whatever that's under that bit of patio there, stop it sort of spreading and coming underneath the shed base and whatever over the years. So that should work quite well, hopefully. So I shall get a bit more progress done, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet as far as joining the bits of wood together. I've got some corner brackets to go in the corners here, and I have got some hangers on order to hang the cross braces that are going to go across from one side to the other here. But I just need to work out how I'm going to fix. I'm probably going to have to take up a couple of boards on this decking here to be able to get to the back side to screw those in nice and strong. I've just got a couple of pieces of wood resting there at the moment, just sort of to eye things up, and also to stop the foxes getting under the edge of that decking, because I had some planks there that were blocking it off, but obviously I had to take those out because they were only thin. I didn't want to butt up the new joists against a little thin manky bit of wood. So it's progressing slowly but surely. Probably not the right way to do it as far as if there's any builders out there that are watching, but I'm shed experts. Yeah, it's not a shed, Lucy, it's a what could we call it, a parts bunker and workshop. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, so yeah, something like that anyway, but basically it's a shed. So anyway, I want to get a bit more progress done and I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, another little update for you. I've got the 2 planks removed there, 1 plank removed there, plank behind the camera to help talking to you. And I've got the hangers now as well. Got hangers, got fixing bolts and a drill bit for them. And we have got that first hanger in there, as you can see. I've not screwed it in with loads of screws just yet. It is at the right level. I've just marked 3 holes, one there and one there, roughly. To then drill into the concrete for those fixing bolts, and then obviously we'll get those in and bolt it to that base, and it's definitely not going to go anywhere then. It's going to be really strong. A concrete plate, what do you call it, slab that I put down there is actually nowhere near where it needs to be, and there's actually a bit of brick wall left there. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably put the legs on the cross beams. So there's going to be a cross beam going across this slab, and it'll be hopefully fairly near the centre of it, and that will pick up both of these slabs here then, because obviously this is going to be a lot stronger than what it was originally going to be, because I'm tying it into all this. So that's obviously all tied in, or will be all tied in together. This is all going to be tied in together, so it's going to be really, really strong. So I'm going to get this bit of wood, so I've only slotted it in there with one screw, so I'm going to unslot it out of that hanger, get these 3 holes drilled, and hopefully it should be nice and secure. These are the bolts that I've got, big old raw bolts, so they should do the job nicely. So I'm going to get drilling and I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, there we go, that one is all bolted in. I've got 3 bolts along there. Cocked that one up a little bit to move the hole slightly in the wood, because the concrete would not drill for whatever reason. It obviously moved, the hole moved down slightly as I was drilling it, so I had to adjust that one slightly, but it's absolutely rock solid, and I'm pretty pleased with how level that is. Not bad for a plumb. So now I'm going to go on to this side, get the hanger on this side. Obviously that will get me that end the level I need it to be, and then I can level this end up with a leg, and then we can put the first cross piece across there. Let's carry on. Right, I've got updates. We've got the hanger in on this side. That brick's not doing anything under there now. Was resting there before. That is all self-supporting now. Going down, we've got the first cross piece in to make the frame up. We've got corner brackets in there, as well as it's been screwed through with these ultra long bolts that I've got. To show you those, so they are proper frame fixings. So I've just got one in that corner with that bracket. This corner we've got 2 legs, both with 2 of those bolts in. We've got 2 bolts going through from that side there through the corner, and we've got a corner bracket as well. So that is mega strong and it is going nowhere. That is really, really good. So that is the outer frame of the shed. Well, that's not the actual shed, because the shed's a bit shorter, but it's the outer frame complete. I've got to put a piece across here now, which is going to form effectively where the shed walls are going to sit. I've got to measure that out, and obviously measure it to the size of the shed, and put a cross beam in now, and then we can start getting all the floor joists going across. Should be absolutely marvellous. So we really have got some good progress going on here, considering this was just a bit of wasteland in the corner of the garden. It should turn out to be something quite good, hopefully. Top banana. Rightio, as you see here, we've got 4 of the floor joists in so far. Well, this one actually is going to be the wall. The wall's going to sit on this end one, so we've got 3 effectively floor joists in. We've got another 3 to put in over there. I was actually waiting for some more hangers to arrive, which I've now got. So let's crack on and get those other 3 joists in. That completes the main sort of area for the shed as far as the joists go, and then we can look at getting the smaller joists going in across here. Because they're going to run the other way in this small section, because I'm actually going to run decking boards the same as what's already there up to this edge, so effectively the deck will go right up to the wall of the shed, and then once that's all there, obviously, and the shed's up, then I can build the box on the outside of it to put the bikes in. So that is the plan. It is going really well. As you can see, I've got the hangers in now, and also on this end I've got the hangers, and I've got a bolt going through each end, each piece of wood as well, just as a bit of added extra security. Unfortunately I can't do it on that end because obviously the concrete's in the way, but it should be more than strong enough. I mean, even without any legs underneath it, I can stand on it and it does not move at all. It's proper chunky, this wood. In fact, if you look at the wood underneath the deck, I thought this wood underneath the deck was chunky when I made the deck, but you can see it's actually double the width for that and slightly more depth as well, and the deck doesn't go anywhere, so this is definitely not going to go anywhere. It's going to withstand pretty much anything, I think. So I'll get those other 3 joists in, and then we'll move on to the next step. Right, there we go. That is the last 3 of the main joists in. Now the measurement between the very last one and the back is very slightly more than the others. I've done them at 500 centres, just because they're so beefy. I didn't feel the need to go any closer than that. I did these ones on the old deck at 450, but they're thinner bits of wood, so I went with 500 on these, and they are mega strong. So now I've got some offcuts here which I've got out. I need 5, so I'm going to have to cut a piece out of one of these bits over here as well, and these are going to go across this way as they're laid out there, but obviously upright like that, so they'll sit in there like that, go across like a ladder coming down here, and then obviously that will form the platform for the decking boards, which I can obviously get laid. I'm going to lay those, and then, well, I've got to get them first, and I can lay them, and that'll at least give me something to stand on when I'm working on the shed. Now my thinking with the shed is I'm going to put the walls up first, and then put the flooring on the inside of the shed, because then that way, if it ever rots or breaks for whatever reason, I haven't got to take the walls down to replace the floor. And also it means that all the wood that's on the outside of the shed will be treated timber rather than chipboard or plywood or sterling board or whatever. So hopefully it'll keep the moisture down on the inside. That is my thinking with that. So I'm going to get these pieces cut to go in there. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to use hangers or whether I'm just going to use those long bolts. I might just use those long bolts, because there's not going to be a lot of weight on that bit. It's only going to be bikes in there, and they should be more than strong enough to, especially with that thickness of wood, they're not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to get those cut, get those put in, and go from there. Right, there we go. That is our ladder section in for the rest of the deck to sit on. Now the eagle-eyed among you will notice that it does actually spread out slightly at this end. That is because I'm assuming the original deck that I made, obviously I was making it to this square over here, wasn't actually square, so obviously I've made it to fit, and now it's obviously wonky. But I'm hoping, because I measured this joist from this end, because obviously I needed the length for the shed, my section here for the new shed will be square, and obviously the overrun is that bit there, so the bit for the shed should be fine. I'll just have to obviously adjust maybe a few decking boards here and there to obviously get that to fit. As I said, this garden is all over the place, there's not one straight line in it including my work. But this is turning out to be mega strong now, so what I'm going to do now, I think I'm just going to put a single noggin in between each joist, just to stop any waver. I mean, like if I push that with my foot, it doesn't move at all, hardly, but just to be on the double safe side, I'm going to knock them together, and then I'm going to put a leg here, probably a leg here, just to give it a bit of extra support, maybe in that corner or just in from that corner, and then I'm going to put possibly another leg in that corner over there, one over there, and I might put another slab in underneath somewhere in the middle there, just to give it a bit of support in the middle. Not that it needs it, but just want to be double sure that it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, now it's bolted to that concrete, that's made it so strong. It's effectively not, although it's almost self-supporting, so it should be absolutely fine. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll come back to you when I've got a bit more progress. Rightio, as you would have just seen there, that is all of the nogs in. As you can see, I've staggered them so I could obviously get to either end to bolt them in. I've got 2 extra legs, or I've moved that one actually, that one was here. So I've got 2 legs on that beam there now, on those slabs. I've got the MEC post which it's screwed to, the original one that was there. I've got the 2 legs in the corner, which you would have seen originally, and I've got the 2 extra legs there now as well. It didn't need them, but there is literally no bounce there now. It's like standing on concrete. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one more of these concrete slabs, these big slabs, underneath the middle there, make it flat, obviously, or as flat as I can, and put one more leg in the very centre there, just to stop any bounce from the middle. But it's very, very minimal, to be honest with you. I want it more on this side, if anything, because obviously this side is bolted to the concrete, so this side's sort of semi-supported. So if I put one sort of there next to that noggin, and I can tie it in, put it straight down to the ground. So that is going to be that, and I think then that's the base pretty much done, which has actually gone a lot smoother than I thought. Now you would have noticed when I put these screws in these legs that I put them in going downwards, and that was because I wanted the bolts to pull the wood down slightly as it pulled it in, because that way the leg has got a slight little bit of pressure on it, rather than it just sort of floating there and not doing a lot, because otherwise you'll still end up with bounce, because obviously it'll have a little gap underneath it before it hits the ground. So the way I've done that with those facing downward slightly means that there's literally no bounce in it, and they are on the floor all the time. So that's why I've done it like that, and plus the fact I couldn't get the drill and the bolt in that gap. So that's another reason why as well. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, I think I'm going to do one more slab in the middle with a leg on it, and then we should be hopefully somewhere near it, and then we can start actually looking at the shed itself. I keep calling it a shed. What can I call it better than a shed? I don't know really. I know I said parts bunker stroke workshop. I'll just call it a workshop, that'd be it. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. Let's see if I can get this slab in the middle here, and hopefully it should be absolutely marvellous. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode of MEC-TEC. I think we have made absolutely brilliant progress on this framework. I'm really pleased with how it's come out, better than I thought, to be honest with you. This is so strong now, it's unbelievable, and for very minimal outlay. Thanks to my old mate Dave for donating all this wood and the workshop itself and everything else, or shed, whichever you want to call it. I've only had to basically buy 3 lengths of wood and some fixings so far, so it's been mega good on the old pocket, which is absolutely superb. Now you will see I've done a bit of paint work on the tops of these legs, just put a bit of treatment on them to stop the moisture going down the grain. I mean, it probably won't get wet down here because it's under the trees, and also it'll be under the shed, but just to make double sure. We've got our extra legging over there on that side now, which I've actually forgotten to paint, so I'm going to need to paint that one. That's in. So hopefully the next episode is either going to be the floor going down or the walls going up. I haven't decided which yet, because I need to measure the width of the walls to see whether they overhang or they're the same width as what I've put down, because if they are, I do actually need to put the floor down first so it can sit on top. But we'll work that one out obviously in due course. If you do like what you see and projects like this, obviously cars, stuff like this, workshop builds, all that sort of thing, make sure you do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you nothing, and it really helps me out on the channel, and I do really appreciate it. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed and liked and all the rest of it. Obviously leave a comment down below if you think I'm doing something wrong. Let me know the better way of doing it, and I'll try and take your advice on board. Remember, I have got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that's left me to say is, if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures or carpentry capers, make sure you tune in again next time. Cheers guys.